moving back to 12B3, report regarding facilities maintenance and operation projects. Dr. Gonzalez?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Tonight we're excited to present our FMO report with regard to facilities, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Trevino so he can present all the great things that are going on across our district. Mr. Trevino?
Good evening, members of the board. Superintendent Gonzalez. I'm here to present on our ongoing and completed projects for our district. On our first slide, we have our ongoing projects, which is the Lamar Phase 2 restroom partition replacements. On the second floor, that is ongoing and on schedule. On the center picture there, you'll see the McAllen front office remodel. That's at about 90% complete. That picture was taken last week. I think the only thing pending right now is the data drops, and we will be moving in the front office personnel into that new area. The Memorial Tennis Courts, notice to proceed has been issued, and construction has begun on the Memorial Tennis Courts. We have the company and contractor out there. They were out there this morning, and the process has begun on the resurfacing and reconstruction of the Memorial Tennis Courts. The intercom replacement, the notice to proceed has been issued as well, and it's ongoing. The Veterans Memorial Stadium press box, the contract has been executed, and we will be meeting this week with our one of our first initial meetings with our construction manager that's on board now. We also have the Lamar Old Nurses Office remodel, which is the office to the left that is now being used or turned into a parental involvement area, and that is almost complete as well. It is in progress. And we also have the fire alarm replacements, which the notice to proceed has been issued as well. On our next slide, we have the staff development portable remodel, which continues. We will be housing on the actual portable that you see on the left-hand side. That will be the new area for Dyslexia 504 and our counseling department. They will be joining the staff development area or crew out there. On our next slide, we have our Agricultural Learning Center, which is in progress. That project right now is on time. There's a lot of things happening out there. We have a small video that I've been working with MITV, and we'd like to have a ongoing video to be able to show the progress at least on a monthly basis. We have Mr. Jaime with MITV. If you can put on the quick 30-second video with the drone footage. Big thank you to our MITV group that were able to join us for our last construction meeting over at the site last week. Over at the site, as you could see, the building pad has passed compaction inspections. This morning, they've already started working on the concrete forming for the foundation out there, and things are moving, things are happening. Our next slide is our Maui baseball fence, which is now complete. It is now starting the painting process that was started this morning and should be finished before the first Maui baseball game. Also, you'll see the completed Memorial Ag Welding Shop that we worked with our partners for all the welding booths, and along with the ventilation systems that were installed. by facilities, maintenance, and operations staff. On our next slide, we have more of our upcoming projects that we're working on, which is our culinary arts, our McHigh door replacements. The contract has been issued for the McHigh door replacements already. The memorial roof is an agenda that we have coming on later on in the agenda this evening. The Rose softball lighting, that project is out to bid right now, and we currently have that out on one of our purchasing cooperatives so that we can be receiving our bids here in the next 10 days. Our McKay HVAC upgrade phase 2, all of the plans have now been completed and everything is ready to be out on the street for bidding, as well as our Houston Elementary Playground upgrades, our HVAC upgrades for Rowe and Lamar. Those are in the design phase right now and are up and coming for bidding in the next 60 days. The Travis Middle School and Houston Elementary School roof is also on the design phase right now. And we're also looking at several options for a possible new boardroom location over at our Staff Development Center at Lincoln College campus.
If you don't mind, I'm going to interject on that one. I asked you to include that on your report. Just want to let the board know, and I know we have a long meeting, so I might have to bring it back. I was asked if we're okay to move forward with updating the equipment at Achieve for our board meeting. I was asking them when it was going to be ready. That cost, though, is anywhere from $80,000 to $130,000 to put in new equipment. So I don't want to make that decision. I obviously I can't. So there wasn't enough time to get a report done or put in another. So for our next board meeting, I'll have it on a separate item where they can present to you the different options, what they're talking about. The concern is we could still have the meetings at Mackay and we'll proceed with that. However, when Norma's team goes out there, the team in the truck doesn't have a way of social distancing. So there's concern about that. So that's another long discussion as far as different options. I think our boardroom is going to be too small, even if we continue distance learning. So I'm kind of stuck on that. But in the meantime, Mr. Trevino, correct me if I'm wrong. If we need to have board meetings, though, we can alternate at auditoriums till we figure out a solution at Achieve. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. President. That's another option that we have now. We are completely done with the remaining upgrades that were being done to our Row and our Memorial auditoriums. So those two auditoriums would also be available for any future board meetings.
Okay, so my question to the board, do y'all want me to bring back next meeting a little bit more detailed information on the cost of Achieve, what he's talking about and all that, or what's the will of the board?
Well, I think we need something from the administration as to what options we have in cost, but more importantly, it has to be going forward for at least the next 2 to 3 years, the COVID situation, because even if we start completing immunizations, we're probably going to have to use space in which we have to, plenty of room for people to sit apart from each other. Unless we get 100% immunization, that's probably going to be the order and probably the driver in our decision.
And that's what I meant to say. Administration would be giving us some options and we can discuss that. So if that's okay, I'll bring it back in the next board meeting so we can further discuss, and we'll pull it off this and make it a separate report so we can have more discussion, and that's fine. All right, thank you, Ruben.
Yes, our next slide is another project that is now almost complete, which is our Hidalgo County Wi-Fi antenna over at Blanca Sanchez Elementary. As you can see the pictures there from our campus. We're just pending the final completion, and then the only thing pending would be the fence that the district is responsible for, which would be a small perimeter fence 6 foot high around the antenna with an access gate. Our next slide is our numbers from FMO Warehouse supporting our remote learning. These are devices that currently our FMO Warehouse is delivering out to our community. These were the numbers as of last Wednesday when the report was due. With the totals on Thursday, Friday, and today, we're now a little over 300 devices that have been delivered throughout the community where the need arises. Our warehouse staff goes out and hand delivers the devices to our parents or students of the district. Our next slide is our air purification systems. Those are the 4 systems that you see there that we've been discussing. Ms. Benavides, myself, some of our staff. We've gone over some of the details for some of these different types. Some of them will go in the system itself. Some of them are portable. We're still, working on putting it out for a quote on our purchasing cooperatives that we have available. They are available to purchase on a purchasing cooperative, and we will be working as well with one of our mechanical engineers so that we can leverage on their expertise and see what recommendations they come up with the size of students that size of units that we have, and the highly populated areas at our campuses. If we could phase this out and begin the process of installing some of these air purification systems throughout the district. On our last slide, we have the work order submitted and completed for the month of December, which is 541 and 1250 completed. And that concludes my report. If there's any questions.
Just a clarification also, Ruben, I asked about the naming rights for the Agriculture Learning Center. Dr. Gonzalez has told me that might come sometime in February. So just want to give the board an FYI on that, so that more to come on that. Any questions from the board for Mr. Trevino?
I have a question, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Floor is yours.
Go ahead,
Tony,
sir.
me? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
On those air purifiers, Ruben, what's the cost for each one of those?
They will range from the $500 range up to the $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 range for the bigger unit, which you see, which is the one on casters. And these are just numbers that are out there. We also have smaller purification systems, individualized air purification systems that will go on our smaller split systems for, say, like for a portable, that may range in the $300 range. So it just depends on the size of unit, the square footage that you're covering, but that is the window of pricing that we've looked at and researched.
And you're looking at, as I understood, you're looking at a phased-in approach of putting these units based on, is that what you said?
Correct. The phase-in approach that we're looking at is of course, one being the funding, and two being the highly populated areas at the campus. We've discussed several options. With the big unit that you see on casters there, that covers around a 20,000 square foot area. We could use that perhaps in our cafeterias, our gymnasiums, our fine arts areas whenever activities are going on. It's something that can be wheeled throughout the campus, especially at the high schools and middle schools. And then you have your other two, which is the GPS on the left-hand side and the iWave on the right, which those are installed directly onto the units at the mechanical rooms at the different campuses.
Thank you very much. Good work, by the way. Congratulations to you and your staff. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, comments?
Right here, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Trevino, maybe you can refresh my memory. Back when we did the turf fields at Memorial and Rowe, what was the discussion that we had on Mac High for that field west of the school?
The field west for the school, that was going to be, I guess, talked about later on in the future, because by giving the two other comprehensive high schools, the turf, that gave the ability to each high school to be able to practice within their own campus. However, the district also wanted to do the research and see about possibly putting turf on the practice area at Mackay, so that we could, kind of give the main stadium a rest, or make it available, and see if we could take care of it a little bit longer, make it last longer.
That's exactly my point. I've had the opportunity to attend a couple of different events that have been at the main stadium, and we've had to have many of our different Mac High teams, mainly right now, men's and women's soccer, removed from their practice facility because they're using the stadium as their practice facility. And from what I understand, that field to the west is just in dire straits. So, I'd like to see if maybe we can look at an estimate to see what that cost would be. And if there's a way that we can somehow find a way to give Mac High their own practice facility, that might be something to look into. It would give us the opportunity to, one, rest the Veterans Memorial Field, but at the same time, when there's an event that's going on there, we wouldn't have to displace, whether it be our Mac High football, Mac High soccer teams, even the band, because they have nowhere to practice. So if that's something the administration would look at, I'd greatly appreciate an estimate down the road.
We can
All right,
certainly.
thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments from the board? All right, Mr. Trevino, thank you very much.